Sorry, guys. I swallowed my own spit. This is what Deku was a werewolf part 3. Now, basically, guys, I'm just gonna specify some stuff. So, I am going to be doing more, custom videos, more stop motions, more, lately, because most of my people have been seeing those videos, so I obviously think, those are the ones that are actually getting me subscribers. So basically, go ahead, hit that like button if you want. You don't really have to. But yeah, let's get into it. So, this is where Deku was a werewolf part 3. Now, all that stuff out for Deku went back home after the whole entire, shenanigans and him turn into a super werewolf or a super wolf or something like that last time. So that will be a current thing, but eventually Deku will get over it, and it'll get more, pretty much, smoother for Deku. So let's get into it. So Deku comes to school the next day, everything goes at the same, but when they're in their hero course, Azawa explains that they're going to the USJ to go, practicing and doing some, training. So they go, and Deku is on the bus, and everybody's talking about how their quirks work, and pretty much everything. Just having small talk. They ask how Deku's quirk works, and Deku says, I have sort of like a quirk that does, complement with some, light from the moon. Deku explains pretty much the powers of a werewolf, and pretty much, Kirishima says, you just sound like a werewolf quirk. Deku says, my quirk's called Wolf. Deku just makes that up, because his father said, if anybody asks what your quirk name is, just say Wolf. Because technically it is like that. But yeah, Deku, everybody's talking more about their quirks, and they eventually get to the, USJ. They go inside of the building, and Deku and the rest of their class is met with, what was it? Oh yeah, number 13? 13? I forgot his name, or her name. I really don't understand. Is she a woman, or a, uh, man? Because she doesn't have any woman-like features, doesn't even have long hair. Like, she literally just looks like a... She actually looks like somebody from Among Us. But, like, if you, switched her color scheme with blue and red, she literally would look like somebody from Among Us. But let's get back into the story. So, pretty much they start off and everybody's talking back and forth about how quirks are used to help people. Some of them can be used to kill, and a lot of them could be very dangerous to yourself or others. So Deku was listening to this when he hears something. He hears a sort of a warp or some sort of, that feeling you have when somebody, opens a door but you don't hear it. You just hear the gust of wind, or like you just hear the person walking in. It's kind of like that feeling, like the feeling you know that somebody's watching you, like a sixth sense or something. So Deku feels this sense and looks up and he sees a black dot that instantly transforms into a portal, and a bunch of villains start jumping out of it. Azawa tells everybody to back up and tells everybody to do the same thing, and to tell 13 to protect the children and get them out of here. Azawa's bodying fools, just going left and right, strangling them and pushing them down, and pretty much they're running, running, running. They get stopped by the Shadow Quirk guy, and all of them get separated. Deku gets separated, and Deku's falling above the ocean level. Deku's falling and falling and falling, and Deku sees that it's some villains in the water. Deku is about to transform into his wolf form to try to fight off the villains in the water, but he does get snatched up by... What was it? Oh yeah, he does get snatched up by Sue before Deku can transform. Sue gets him onto the boat, and pretty much they meet up with Meta. They're looking around, and Deku is about to, just go wild. Just go wolf, and jump into the water, try to fight them off, but Sue says that's a stupid idea because your quirk based off a wolf. A wolf can swim, but not, to an extent like their quirks. So Deku and Froppy and Mineta are making up a plan, talking about more in detail about their quirks. Deku Deku explains the drawback, and Sue says you don't really have that much drawbacks only when it's nighttime and it's a full moon. So Deku gets an idea. He wants to use Sue to pretty much cause a huge distraction while Deku uses his wolf strength to try to start a wormhole. Now, Deku isn't like, All Might strength, but Deku is strong enough at his full beta werewolf form. Deku can reach about tops the 50% of one for all type of strength. So Deku uses that in both of his hands, using a sonic clap into the water, making a wormhole, using the same technique that he did in Canon, making Mineta throw the balls into the wormhole, making all the villains stick to the balls being pushed into the wormhole. Sue swings them off. Sue swings them off the pretty much. What was it? Oh, dang it, boat. Oh, sorry guys, boat. And they get to the shore. They look around and they see a couple minutes after that, they all might bust through, seeing that pretty much the Nomu's there, and Deku sees that Shigaraki's about to touch Froppy at this point, and Deku transforms into his wolf form, grabbing Shigaraki's wrist, throwing him back. Shigaraki gets thrown back into some rocks, and Deku looks at All Might fighting the Nomu. Deku's about to help All Might when he gets hit in the side by a villain with some sort of rock quirk. This villain can turn its head into as hard as rock or vibranium. Pretty much, he can turn his head the hardest object in the world, so his head's indestructible. Deku sees that his guy's ramming into him like Hammerhead from the comic books, from Marvel Comics, just going at it. Deku gets angry by this, grabs the man's neck, and starts trying to, strangle him. Eventually strangling him to a point that he passes out because of lack of oxygen. Deku throws him down to the ground and helps All Might. Deku drop kicks the Nomu onto the ground. The Nomu doesn't really get onto the ground, he mostly just gets on one knee. He comes back in seconds and sucker punches Deku straight into the face, sending Deku flying, flying like a torpedo, straight to a wall. Deku makes a huge crater behind himself and reverts back to his human form, being pretty much almost getting knocked out. At this point, Deku is trying to transform back, but he just got hit so hard that his transformation isn't really working. Deku is just having his canine teeth get bigger. Deku's claws are coming out. Deku's growing a tail and ears. Pretty much Deku at this point just looks exactly like this. So Deku sees that the Nomu's pretty much going at it with All Might. At this point, Shigaraki tells the Nomu to kill that wolf boy. The Nomu pretty much, super kicks All Might into his weak spot, pushing All Might down to the ground. The Nomu sprints towards Deku. Deku sees that a Nomu is coming straight for him. Deku dodges and grabs the Nomu's fist and pretty much bites it. The Nomu yells out in pain and then punches Deku straight into the face, knocking Deku clean out of the park. He goes flying like Superman. Like, he hits the top of the dome of the fake scenario city, and he falls down to the ground. Seeing this, All Might uses the last bit of his strength to jump over there, catch Deku, and he falls into a little puddle. All Might reverts back to his small Might form and says, "It's up to you, young Midoriya." Deku takes this up on the real lane and pretty much uses a secret item that his father lended him. It's a ring that can instantly transform a werewolf into its reverted state. Pretty much Deku, if he has this ring on at all times, he can transform at will into his full moon state. Deku, but it does heighten the pain and the werewolf instincts to such an extent that Deku can't even control it. Deku just sees what he's doing. So Deku can target who he wants to, attack, but if anyone gets in the way, like somebody wants to stop the fight, they instantly get murked. It's no question. It doesn't matter if that person is Deku's son. He's gonna kill that person while he's in this werewolf form. So, Deku puts the ring on, and the ring does disappear after Deku. And the ring only works about an hour until it reverts back, but Deku has about 2 minutes to take off the ring before he transforms back into a wolf. So Deku puts the ring on, transforming, yelling out in pain, bleeding a little bit. Seeing his spine pop out of his back, Deku transforms into his wolf form. Deku transforms. Deku's a lot bigger than this, but it's the only picture I can find. The other picture I couldn't find. So Deku sprints straight to the Nomu, pretty much rips the Nomu's arm clean off, and starts mauling the Nomu, eventually eating the Nomu, killing the Nomu. Shigaraki sees that Deku's just killing it and destroying it. Shigaraki does get an idea. Maybe we can get Deku on our side since he's going to such a villainous type of look in his eyes. Deku looks at Shigaraki growling, about to just, jump on Shigaraki and, bite him. Deku jumps on Shigaraki, but Shigaraki uses his hand to disintegrate little chunks of Deku's front legs when Deku is pinning him down on the ground. Deku whimpers a little bit, and Shigaraki kicks Deku off of him just a little bit, enough so Shigaraki could get off. Eventually, the heroes show up, and they start going at it. The bullet hero starts pretty much shooting at Shigaraki. Shigaraki still gets the same wounds as usual, but something does happen just a little bit different. But we'll get into that later. So after that, Deku transforms back after a couple of hours of the heroes trying to contain Deku in one spot so he can't hurt anybody else. Deku transforms back, and Deku immediately takes out the ring and chucks it straight at one of the heroes. One of the heroes catches it and says, "What is this, kid?" Deku explains about how it's a family rare relic that can pretty much temporarily mess with our family's quirk. So they said, "So kid, what do you want to do?" Deku says, "Give it back." Deku puts it in his back pocket, not intending to use it for about like 10 years or so. Deku doesn't want to use it anymore because, well, it hurt like hell when he transformed. So Deku goes to the hospital after that because Deku did get a little bit of his arm pretty much disintegrated off, but they did notice that Deku, because werewolves do have superhuman healing, meaning that Deku pretty much just regenerates from it. Off of that, Deku gets a couple of days off, and one of those days is the full moon. Deku goes through his whole entire transition, being chained up and all that other stuff. And pretty much after that, Deku goes back to school the next day. And I'm gonna leave it off here. See you guys later. Bye.